Do you see action, a crackdown by the government now, since it has been embarrassed embarrassed beyond imagination? Do you see a crackdown, many of these people being taken to task? Or do you think
Right.
that it's just going to be a blip, and everything will go on as normal from tomorrow onwards?
No, I think the government should have been taken this case action from the long time back, because the incident was happened on the 4th. And because of this video, then I think it seems that the state forces was actually forced, state government was forced to take action. But what about those cases? Because there are 75 people belonging to Kuki have been killed in this violence, and 54 Maitais have been killed. This is as per the FIR reported. There
Yeah.
are some other report which have not been reported. There are murder. There are the communities are actually beheading each other. The youths are actually taking arms in their hand to protect themselves. But who is creating this situation? That is the big question. But India is a republic and a democratic country. And by the Constitution of India, the state forces and security forces have a moral responsibility to protect the life and the liberty and the property of the civilian. But unfortunately, the central government are politicking in this violence, and they are making friends with the armed group, and under some kind of friendship in the last 17 years. And when they are alleged to be involved such kind of crime, then the first thing the some government of India should do is that they should take action those armed groups. Since the other side have already armed, the other side are also forced to take up arms, and the youths are actually looting the arms from the state armory. But the point is, if the government have already taken action against the armed militant group, then this kind of situation would not have been occurred. But still, the time is with the government of India. They have to take action. They have to take action. They have to disarm the Kuki militant. They have to disarm the Meitei youth, and they have to protect. They have to protect the life and the property of the civilian, but for the community, but irrespective of the Kuki and Meitei. I'm not speaking on the only behalf of the Meitei as a Meitei. I'm speaking as a
I'm coming to you,
civilian.
Mr. Suhas. I'm coming to you.
Okay, so the state should act. State cannot be complicit, as has been accused by many other newspaper, that they cannot be partition to the conflict. They have to come forward, and they have to ensure peace. They
Okay.
have to conduct the rule and regulation of the Constitution of India. They cannot play in Manipur,
Okay.
because this is a border state.
Okay. Mr. You were saying something, sir.
No, then who will take action with respect to the armed groups who are not in ceasefire agreement with the government of India? There are so many armed groups belonging to the Métis in the valley who have not signed a peace agreement with the government of India. Just because they have not signed the agreement with the government of India, does that mean that they will be let loose? I think if we continue this kind of a discussion where some way or the other we try to bring in the perspective of the community in our own discussions, I think we actually create more problems. I think what is unfortunate and has been very unfortunate from this morning, I have listened to the statement of the Prime Minister very carefully. And what did he say? I mean, if you take the whole statement in context, I mean, it's very clear the government in a way justifying the violence, and there is no political will to take actions. And with respect to those who are involved in stripping and gang rape of this particular incident, what did the Prime Minister say? Prime Minister say, वो जो अपराधी है अपने जगह पे है, लेकिन हम एक्शन लेंगे. So what do you mean? I mean, अपने जगह पे है, it means there is some justification of the violence. And secondly, then he comes and speaks, says, I urge all the chief ministers. If we urge all the chief ministers, please look at the data of the National Crime Records Bureau. You know, thousands of rape cases take place, hundreds of thousands of rape cases take place in the country, including in the metropolitan cities. are we equating the rape which are taking place in normal or ordinary course of the crimes or ordinary course of life? And here we are dealing with a particular situation where the riots are raging. So the indication which I have got, or the way I construe it, is that there is no willingness even today on the part of the Prime Minister to take any action. And if you look at the statements of Chief Minister Biren Singh, he was lost with words, and he could not even express himself as to what he wants, except saying that, I want capital punishment, maut ki saja de do. That is not the issue at this point of time. At this point of time, the critical issue is you take action against all those who are seen in the video. And it should not be difficult for a country with the fourth largest army in the world, to find out who are involved in it. As I say, it's the Hindi film dialogue that, if the policemen are strict, that you cannot even, steal a pair of chappals from the temples. It is very easy. It is very easy for the government to take action if they want. Now, why they do not want, that's a different issue. I think my personal request to all the panelists, whether you represent a Kuki community or Meitei community, please, let's not try to put the blame, this is the way it should have been done, this is the way it should have been done, take this guy's arms. So in a way, you continue the same debate that this side is responsible, that side is responsible. We know that, when riots take place, there are elements from both sides who are responsible, and our responsibility is to highlight it to the government and the people that, rule of law has to apply, and everybody has to be held accountable. And if we, I'm saying again, I have been very distressed, and I sometimes, when I see my friends from the human rights fraternity, and I have known everybody from Manipur, that, they have lost track of the whole discussion. And in fact, some of the people who have independent view can't even express themselves, cannot even speak independently. So here we do not have to say Kuki militants are responsible because you take away the arms from the Kukis. Then of course the Kukis will come and say, they are Meitei militants. The issue is anybody who is responsible in the creation of law and other problems or creating riots, you take action against them. And if you take action against them, you can easily restore the situation.
Okay, Mr. Swas, I'll come to you. Mr. Dongle, you heard what the Chief Minister said. He's talking about capital punishment. He's saying that strictest action should be taken. The police knew about it. It's not like the police was not aware of it. The police knew about it, fourth, because the police was there when this incident happened. The police lodged an FIR 14 days later on 14th or 18th. And everybody is behaving. I can understand people outside Manipur behaving as if it happened yesterday because not many could see the video. But people inside Manipur are behaving as if, it just happened yesterday. The we'll take suo moto actions are being taken, all kind of platitudes are being mouthed. Do you think that the government will ensure a crackdown, or these are just empty words, nothing will change on the ground?
Thank you for the question. That is a very pertinent question that needs to be addressed. And I believe that the one person who was responsible for, the outbreak of all this crime is by the name Mr. Armstrong Moirangthem. I repeat, his name is Armstrong Moirangthem. He was the one who spread fake news. He was the one who recorded a video and spread across the media saying that before the internet was shut down, saying that Meitei women are raped in Churachandpur district. And that spread an outroar, and that is why these people, the mobs or the Meitei mob, the Valley mobs, without verifying the video or otherwise the authenticity of the claim, reacted, and that's how they went rampage, and that's how they employed rape or otherwise murder as an instrument in this conflict. Now, why is this fellow not booked? Even if there was no NI file against this boy or this man, the police could have taken suo moto action on this. Because prior to this, we have seen.
No, I completely agree with you, Dongle. I completely agree with you. He deserves strictest punishment possible for the act which he has committed.
Let me come back to your question. See, if you look at the violence that had happened since the beginning of May, We have seen a lot of FIR has been filed, and you also stated, and every one of us are aware that this is happening under the nose of the state machinery. The chief minister knows, the intelligence knows, the police themselves knows. Now, there was no action taken. Any of them, any of the FIR that was filed is buried under the carpet. I've already listed down a few of them, and you have seen how in the process the Mera Paibis have ordered their men to rape Kuki women. There was a video that went viral as well. Now, when 2 months has passed and no actions has been taken, and when this all of a sudden, although I really understand the anguish, the pain, and the stigma that the victims must have gone through at this moment, I use the word blessing in disguise, because had this video not been circulated, there will not be any resemblance of actions taken by the central government or be it the state government. And to considering, the stepmotherly treatment that has been meted out to the Kuki Jo community who are victims of atrocities and violence. I'm not talking about the fighting that takes place in the peripheries of the state. That is a different story altogether. Now we are talking about violence committed against women who are weak, and then taking pride in committing crimes such as rape and murder. All of this has been happening for the past 2 months. The state has remained mute spectator. And if that is so, what give me where do I find that a hope that the state government will start a crackdown on all these atrocities against the perpetrators? I don't think so. And secondly, we have seen also how most of the Supreme Court has always asked to report on the status of Manipur. And Advocate General of the state has done most of the report in the Supreme Court. And if you see, most of the senior advocates, are from the Meitei community. Now, one of my panelists has said you should not pinpoint on communities, but let us speak the truth. And you see how Advocate General reporting on the atrocities in the state is many a times manipulated and doesn't give the real picture of the violence and also the suffering that is suffered by both sides, particularly to those people living in the hills, the Kuki-Jo community.
Yeah.
So when these things are happening and not adequately represented even in the Supreme Court, where do we find respite? That is why I have been vouching all over again, looking at the in-depth enmity, violence, and also the fault line that has been drawn between these two communities, and the ethnic cleansing that is taking place. Why not separate the two? Let them live peacefully as neighbors. Yeah.
Okay, Ashok, you have to say something.
Well, Brijesh, I was just pointing out one small thing, that most of the guests have made out a case saying that the state government has not really done much in the last 80 days ever since this ethnic conflict has broken out in the state of Manipur. Now, what I fail to understand is that we have witnessed such incidents in the past. It's happened in the state of Punjab, it's happened in the state of Gujarat. Now, you see, the action taken by the government of that time when dealing with situations in Punjab and Gujarat is slightly disconnected with what we are witnessing today in Manipur. For dealing with situations in Punjab and Gujarat, the first step that the government did was to appoint a special security advisor, a neutral person, a person of some eminence. Like, for instance, in Punjab, we saw Julio Rivero being appointed as a security advisor to the governor. In Gujarat, during the 2002 riots, we saw KPS Gill taking charge there, and within 4 days after he takes charge, the situation is brought back to normalcy. Now, surprisingly, in Manipur, we see there is no security advisor. It's the DGP who is trying to...
No, they have appointed advisor, Mr. Kuldeep Singh, but it's definitely not
what we need is a person of some eminence.
Yes.
Somebody who is seen to be neutral, somebody who people of the state trust. Okay, now this is a situation that is required. Yes. Now coming back to the whole discussion that we have been talking about, is about that viral video. What is interesting, Brijesh, if you look at it closely, is the date of the incident, the date of the filing of the FIR, and statements which have been made, not just by the chief minister but by other people. The chief minister says that he came to know about this incident only yesterday when this video went viral on the social media. Now, it looks to be an attempt at it looks to be a hogwash or an eyewash which is being attempted by the state government, because you cannot have a situation where the police have registered an FIR into such a heinous incident on 18th of May,
Yes.
and the chief minister of the state saying he was not aware, and he was aware, he became aware of the situation only after the video went viral on social media. So this is something, it seems to be some sort of a cover-up also, which is kind of taking place at the level of the state government or the police or at the local administration level.
Okay.